But meditation is something that's valuable for every human being at any stage of one's life.
Yes.
So it is enhanced because now I'm able to concentrate, I'm able to focus, and so that's going to allow me to achieve my goals. But that initial foundation of spirituality and faith within a family is very, very important.
Always. So, how do we greet in Brahm Kumaris when we meet each other?
We say Om Shanti.
And what's the reason of saying Om Shanti?
It's a very sweet reminder that I am a soul. Om, I am. Shanti, peace. And so it's a reminder of my own peace and sharing that peace with you.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. So, if you would like to tell me a little bit about Brahm Kumari, what is Brahm Kumari and what's the goal? Because every organization, they have a mission and vision. So if you can brief us and our audience a bit more about it, please.
It works on two levels. On the one side, a very personal, individual level, in which we know that teachings about the self and how the mind, the consciousness, personality, intellect all work together. And when one understands this, then one is able to become again a master of the self, in which I'm able to use my own innate qualities and develop them to my own highest potential, so that I'm able to maintain my own inner dignity and share that respect with others who I interact with also. So it's a fulfillment of the individual, but it's also then the contribution of individuals coming together, sharing the same values and understanding that it's this transformation of consciousness and a raising of values again to their higher state that's going to create a better world. So the ultimate aim is actually to create a better world. And we believe that when I change, my little world changes around me, but it also inspires many others so that together we can create a better world for all.
Oh, that's wonderful. I remember I did a Raj Yoga course a few years ago in Bradford, and I also went to the Oxford Center for a 3-day retreat course. And to be honest, the experience was awesome. We'll talk more about it. So, would you like to tell us about your childhood and at what stage you started getting inclined towards spirituality, and when did you finally join Brahm Kumari, and how?
I was 8 when we were having summer holidays in India, and I was attending children's classes in a garden, really, not even inside, but in a garden in the summer holidays. This was in March 1957, and my mother and my grandmother had already started Raj Yoga meditation, and so their influence, of course, was a good support. And then in November, at Diwali time that same year, we were all in Delhi, and I had the good fortune of meeting the founder, Brahma Baba. And
Okay.
and
So
the
you
mother,
met Brahma Baba.
many times,
you're very
yes.
lucky.
And also the mother of the organization, Mama, we called her Mama Saraswati. And then in December, we migrated to London, and that's been my home since December 57. And so going through Western education and so on, although my mother would have me and my younger brother sit for a few minutes in meditation every night, it wasn't so interesting. And then by the time I was 12, my brother and I had told my mother that we didn't want to do this anymore. And she was very wise. And she said, okay, that's fine, because she knew it would happen at the right time in its own way. And I was then meeting Brahma Baba and Dadi Janki in Pune, which was my hometown, and Brahma Baba in Abu through the 60s as I was a teenager, and we'd go there for our holidays to India. And then it was when I was 18 that I came to stay in India for an extended time because I'd started uni in London, but then I decided that
What course did you do at the university?
I started with the School of Pharmacy.
Right, right.
Yeah. And then coming to India and being there for a few months, it was a lovely experience to get to know India and its history and culture. But I felt that I needed to educate myself about something that I couldn't find in London. So I went to see Dadi Janki. I knew her since I was a child, and the things that Dadi shared were very powerful. And I decided I wanted to learn to meditate. And 6 weeks later, I decided that this is to be my life. So I was by then 19. And so when I was 19, I made this decision, and that was about 56 years ago now, and I'm still following that journey.
Right. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, if we talk more about Brahma Kumari, how many centers are there globally, and how many people around the world are connected? And if you can tell us a bit more about like what kind of ethnic background they are from.
We have around 1,000 centers in 120 countries, but apart from the centers outside India, in India alone we have 5,600 centers. And so I think we must be the largest spiritual organization operating in India at the moment that has this established network of centers. There might be others with different other things, but certainly established centers in this way. I think Brahma Kumaris must be heading the list. And we would have over 1 million people who we don't call them followers, because we don't have a guru system.
Okay.
But we would say that they are students, that they are studying at a spiritual university. And so there would be over 1 million students across the world.
Okay. So if I talk about, because obviously, this podcast is mainly for people who do not know anything about, Brahma Kumari. So that's the reason we are touching at a very, very basic level. So if I say, like, if anybody would like to join Brahma Kumari or any of the spiritual path, what do you think is the right age or stage? Is because I've seen a lot of people, they say, oh, right now I'm like at the age, when they are like balavastha, they're more into playing and and then studying, and then they get into the yuva avastha where they will start working and and then start family. And so the spirituality is something which always been pushed back. Oh, when I grow old, and then I will do this, I'll get into bhakti marg. But what happens by the time you have already lost your crucial time? So if you haven't done anything for like first 60 years, how can you expect to do that like after 60? So what would you like to say about people, like when is the right time to get into spirituality and at what stage?
Parents should follow some type of spirituality in their own life so that they can influence the young family members in the right direction, so that the young ones are exposed at home from their families about spirituality, so that it's not a novel idea or a strange idea for them, but where there's a family that has some type of faith background, that becomes a very powerful foundation for young people. And then, of course, when somebody's in their youthful age, then they can think further for themselves as to which direction they want their life to go in. But that initial foundation of spirituality and faith within a family is very, very important. And then further on, yes, a young person can choose if they feel that meditation is of value for them, they can make their own decision. But meditation is something that's valuable for every human being at any stage of one's life. So, for example, when I was a child, the meditation that I was doing at that time calmed me down. It was very valuable because most children are hyperactive now. And so having a chance just to have that time to be in silence, meditation, to whatever extent a child can understand, that's very valuable. And then through teenage years, where you have many, many choices to make, but not enough wisdom to make your choice, then especially in those years, you need some type of spiritual guidance that's going to keep you moving in the right direction. And then, of course, when you're a family person and you have many responsibilities, it's a lot of pressure on a human being. And so at that moment also to be able to meditate and have enhanced decision-making capacity through meditation, to be able to have that inner peace and joy in which you're not looking outside for that entertainment, but you have that awareness of joy within. All of these things you can see at every step of human life. It's very important to be able to meditate, to have that connection with the source, with the divine. That's going to be very valuable.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because, I mean, we think that we are in our own control. But if you think, actually, we are not. We are always being guided. And now the social media is taking a big role. So we are always being guided what other people want us to react in certain way. And they manage to achieve that as well. So I personally believe, meditation is something where you can gain back the control on your own self, on your own body, and which is very, very important if we have to take certain decisions in life, if we have to do certain things in life. I mean, and meditation definitely helps us in achieving that to an extent. Again, it all depends, how deep you can go into meditation. So so when we talk about meditation, and what do you think? Obviously it helps in calming our mind, but do you think it actually helps in controlling disease like blood pressure, diabetes, and any such diseases? Because again, when we talk about calming our mind, sometimes we ourselves don't want to calm our mind, because we try to pick things which makes us more aggressive. So, and then there are other aspects of like blood pressure, diabetes. How do you think meditation can help in controlling that?
Meditation is the way to be able to move your mind in a very, very elevated, pure direction. And when you're doing that, the body itself comes back to a state of normality rather than excessive pressure or low pressure, because people go through fluctuations of both. But with meditation, what happens is that I'm able to have an understanding of how the mind functions, and I'm able to keep my mind moving in the right direction with pure, elevated thoughts. So of course that has an impact on my whole physiology, my heart rate, my breathing, my blood pressure, all of these things. And so definitely, if you think about how people have stress, and how stress is a major factor for many, many illnesses today. So meditation helps you deal with the stress so that then you're able to manage your life in a much more sweeter way than you would have otherwise. And the other thing is that it's a life in which you learn about discipline. And so sometimes diabetes means imposing discipline on yourself. If you want to be able to have blood sugar level which are consistent rather than again fluctuating, you need a lot of discipline for that. And many people nowadays don't have that discipline. Whereas meditation enhances your own inner capacity so that it's your own willpower increases considerably. And so you're not just able to manage with blood pressure and diabetes, for example, but in many other stress-related factors also. And then the most important thing is that meditation helps you achieve an inner state of balance in which you can decide for yourself, as you said, become your own master. You see, we use the word Raj Yoga. Yoga, union, connection, communion with the divine, but Raja, the one with the highest. But also it means to become, through yoga, my own master, Swaraj, to be able to reclaim self-sovereignty, mastery over myself, in which now my mind is more disciplined, so it's definitely calmer, but also my intellect becomes sharper, cleaner, more active, so that then my willpower is increasing. My capacity to discern right from wrong, false from truth is able to be enhanced. And so I'm increasing my inner capacity and my own inner abilities to be able to manage life in a way that's allowing me to be much happier within. We think sometimes that by buying, we're going to be more happy. But today I buy a new car, tomorrow somebody scratched it,
Yeah.
and all my happiness disappears in a day because its value is reduced by multi-thousands instantly.
Yeah.
And so happiness is not something you can buy that we think it is, but rather happiness is an inner state of awareness in which I can allow myself to connect through meditation. You see, the world today has lost its values. This is why there's this conflict between falsehood and truth, because who wants to be honest today? They'll say, well, what's in it for me through honesty? If I'm going to lose out through honesty, I don't want honesty. Or if we say, if violence is going to be the way to achieve my goal, well, why not? So our values have got left behind. But the reason for this is that we are not in touch with ourselves. And if we were in contact with the inner being, Atma, the soul, then all these values lie within Atma, within the soul itself. And so first step of meditation is the awareness of the inner being, Atma, located here in the center of the forehead. And when I connect with Atma and I can feel that peace and truth and joy within myself, then I start to experiment with these qualities in my life. And so my life definitely changes for the better. The world is still the same, a crazy place. But now I know how to be peaceful. I know how to be loving. I know how to follow the path of truth. And because of this, I have an inner strength and inner power that gives me the authority to be able to do things in the right way at the right time. And so relationships definitely improve as a result of that. If you can improve the quality of relationships both at home and also at work, of course your work life is going to be that much more efficient. So in fact, through focusing on the development of the being within the soul, family life improves, social life improves, work life improves, and even my achievement on an external level at work is enhanced, because now I'm able to concentrate, I'm able to focus, and so that's going to allow me to achieve my goals.
Right, wonderful. I would like to share one of my experience when I was doing Raj Yoga course in Bradford with Manoj Bhai. All of a sudden, I had a severe pain because of a stone in my kidney, and I was in deep agony. And to be honest, and I couldn't figure out what to do. Obviously, my wife called the ambulance as well, and there was a time by the time the ambulance would have come, and I was in really bad agony. So what I did is all of a sudden it clicked in my mind, and I just sat on for meditation. And you won't believe, obviously in a very few minutes I got connected, and for next 25-30 minutes I can't remember I couldn't feel any pain or anything. I mean, I was completely out of this world. So I mean, it definitely helped me in that situation. And so yeah, I definitely, when you control your mind, obviously all these physical pain, you can decide whether you want to accept them or you want to reject them. I mean, that's my experience.
It's beautiful that you had that experience, and I would just analyze it a little bit differently. That when you're aware of the soul and you're enjoying that beauty of soul consciousness and the connection with the divine, then you're detached from the consciousness of the body. And so even if there's pain, the level of tolerance capacity increases because of your inner state of detachment. And so it's not that it's gone away. It's there, but I'm not feeling suffering from it. And so I'm able to tolerate it to a greater extent. And then, of course, yes, whatever the doctors need to do, they need to do. It's not that we're saying forget about the medicine, but I'm able to develop my own tolerance capacity to a great extent.
So, if what kind of courses do we offer at Brahm Kumari, and are they free or are they paid? And obviously, if our audience would like to know more about Brahm Kumari or would like to do certain sessions, how should they go about it?
We have centres in about 40 locations across the UK, and so if you go on to www.brahmakumaris.org UK, you'll be able to find us, and then you can connect with us at any one of our centres. Most of our centres offer definitely Raj Yoga meditation courses, and everything is free, because we believe that spirituality, meditation is like the light of the sun. It should be available freely to everyone. So we don't charge for any of our courses at all.
Oh, that's great.
Right. So there's the meditation course, then there's positive thinking course, then there's stress-free living courses, then there's anger management courses. So these are the essential courses. Then different centers would have additional things, but definitely these are the basic courses that all our centers offer.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a good opportunity for all of us, at least, we can Google it out and see what's our closest center. And because the courses are free, I can't see any reason why we shouldn't try. And that's what I did as well a few years ago. And it did help me in transforming the way I think and the way I do things, and the way I actually analyze people I meet, because again that is a very, very important thing, how you connect to people you meet in different environment, and how to react and how to control your reactions sometimes. So that's a wonderful thing. So Brahm Kumari, obviously in our Hindi or Sanskrit, Kumari is for females, isn't it? Is to like represent females. So is it like, should I say like it's a female oriented organization, or is it like
in fact, we don't say Brahma, we say Brahma.
Okay.
So there's a difference. Brahma is the element Brahma, Nirvana, and then Brahma is the father of humanity.
Okay.
So we would say Brahma Kumars and Brahma Kumaris. So we have brothers as well as sisters, not only Kumaris, but we also have Brahma Kumars, and they play a great role within the organization. But the interesting thing is that in 1936, when the founder had visions of a better world, and he saw that there could be a world of truth, equality, and justice, at that time he then decided that what he would like to do is to move society forward towards that better world by allowing there to be equity between men and women. And so he said that since women had been given such a second-class role in society for thousands of years, it was time to allow them to be the teachers and leaders and administrators for the organization. So by our constitution, we have women who are at the head of the organization, but we also have men, brothers who play a wonderful role. Here in Manchester, for example, it's a brother who heads up the organization, Brother Mukesh. And so he came to Raj Yoga very young, but has stayed with it, and of course has now established the center in Manchester, a very beautiful one. And so we cater for men and women, but we're by constitution, the leaders are women. And this must be very unusual. I think we're the only spiritual organization in the world, even today, that has men and women, but has the leadership in the hands of women.
Right. Okay. No, definitely, because even like in Sanatan Dharma, Mata, Devi Mata is like, is on the highest level. And then it comes like, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So again, so yeah. And, when we talk about, for example, these days, a lot of people, they are living in a lot of stress. And globally, if we see, because of stress, anger, we can see like people are not happy, and there's no peace in most part of the world. So again, how do you think doing such courses like a Raj Yoga course, which is like a level 1, isn't it, Raj Yoga course, can actually help them in establishing maybe global peace?
You see, the UN preamble states that every human has dignity and worth, and so it's important to recognize the value of every human being. And then the charter, the preamble to the Charter of UNESCO states very clearly, wars begin in the minds of men, and the defenses of peace lie therein also. And so men is not just men in that sense, but humanity. So wars begin in our minds, and the defenses of peace are also in our minds. And so meditation is going to help me become peaceful and remove all trace of violence and come to the state of ahimsa.
Right.
This is something that we value greatly in the Adi Sanatana Dharma. And so it's through Om Shanti, coming to that awareness that I am a being of peace, that I can have the path of ahimsa, do no harm to anyone. But whatever changes I make, my family is going to be influenced, my friends are going to be influenced. And then further on, as a result of that, they will carry that influence and share it with others also. And so we believe that even a tiny minority that is powerful and committed can bring about change within the majority.
Right.
And in fact, Margaret Mead, social scientist, many, many years ago stated that if ever there has been positive change in the world, it's been brought about not by the majority, but by a handful of a tiny committed minority.
Right.
And so that's how peace can come about. If I can live a life of peace, of love, of truth, then I can be an instrument to be able to share that. And together we can create a better world.
100%, yeah, definitely. If we all follow the same path, then there won't be any disharmony at all, because right. So when we talk about, like, obviously, I've heard that is like your body and mind is very reactive towards the food we take. So what kind of food we take, and accordingly our thoughts and action are being developed. So would you like to say something about, like, about our eating habits? And
yeah, sure. They say jesa anvesa man. Whatever is the food you eat, so is the impact on the mind. And it's a reality. If I'm eating food that has been obtained by violence, then that animal that has been slaughtered, what would be the hormones going on inside that creature?
fear.
It would be fear, it would be anger, it would be hatred. And I'm ingesting all of that. And so my body is being filled with those same hormones also. So it's not just a spiritual dream, but it's a reality that the food I eat is impacting my body. And of course, my body and mind are working together, so it's impacting my mind also. But I think by now there's a lot of evidence by research that shows that vegetarian diet, food that's plant-based, is that which is going to help human minds come back to a state of peace. If my food is obtained by peaceful means, it's more likely that my mind is going to be peaceful also. But there are two other reasons to turn to plant-based diet, and that is the whole situation with the environment. It takes 8 times as much water and 8 times as much land to produce 1 kilo of food by meat breeders rather than plant-based diet.
Right. Okay.
8 times as much. And so if I'm concerned about the environment, and a lot of people are today because the whole ecosystem is breaking down, so if I were to change my diet, that would be very, very helpful. But the other aspect is health. Again, there's a lot of research that indicates that plant-based diet means that I have a healthier system rather than meat-based diet. And that is because if you look at human teeth, they're not made like carnivores to tear meat. Our teeth are very different. And our system, our digestive system, is also such that it's suitable for vegetables. It's not suitable for meat eating. And so the carnivores have a very short small intestine. because meat staying inside your body isn't healthy
Right,
on any
okay.
level. So their short intestine eliminates stuff immediately, very quickly. And for humans, we have a very long small intestine. And so the food stays in it for a long time. And as a result of that, when it's plant-based diet, we're far healthier than any other diet.
And what would you like to say about dairy products? Because obviously, there are two ways of looking at it. Some people think that, dairy product is again an act of cruelty towards animal, especially nowadays. Whereas when we talk about the ancient time when Krishna, during, like, obviously, Dwapar Yug, when Krishna was there, that is where, like, it used to say, like, oh, the milk is one of the healthiest thing you can have. So what's your view on dairy products?
At this point in human history, where there's factory farming everywhere, the beef industry and the dairy industry are very deeply linked together. And so forget about the question of, adoring cows as being sacred. But dairy products and beef products, the two are very deeply connected. Did you know that India was one of the largest exporters of beef? So that goes to show what's going on there. And so I personally follow a vegan diet without using any dairy products. But our emphasis is first on vegetarian diet. But beyond that, then we leave it to personal choice.
Right.
Whenever somebody is ready, then they can move to vegan diet also.
Okay. No, that's nice, because I myself is vegetarian and I'm converting slowly into vegan. So again, just another point when we talk about diet, again, like people say that, even this garlic and onion is tamasic in nature. We call, like, rajogun, tamo.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say about, like, again, it's a plant based, but at the same time, we have two different opinions.
Okay.
And people also say that, garlic is very useful for, because it has some medical properties as well, and where it helps in, like, in healing something in your body as well. So yeah.
Within the Brahma Kumaris, we definitely say avoid onions and garlic because they create more passion within the body and the mind.
Right, okay.
And so if I want to be sattvic, which is cool and peaceful and pure and clean, then diet without onions and garlic is more helpful. Otherwise, it increases the passions and it's not useful.
So yeah, okay. And I think, we had a good session with Sister Jayanti, and obviously, it's advisable that at least, you can try Brahma Kumari once and, attend the sessions. They have 40 centers all over the country, and it'll be a very, very good experience. I must say that, you won't regret. That's my promise. And rest, I'll leave it to God, how they want to pave your life. So yeah. And anything else you would like to add to conclude the show?
I would suggest that give time to yourself. We think about our work, we think about our family, but we don't think so much about giving time to ourselves. And sometimes we say that that's selfish. No, it's my first responsibility. I have to take care of the soul. And so make time, especially first thing in the morning, for time for silence, for reflection, to look at yourself inside, to have some study of some spiritual matter, so that you're giving your mind something nourishing to think about the whole day. And if you start your day well, the day is likely to go well. And at the end of the day, again, make time for silence, for meditation, and ask yourself two questions. Could I have done something differently today? Not even asking better or worse, just this question. Could I have done something differently? And the second question to ask yourself is, what did I learn today? These two questions will definitely help you move forward on a spiritual level, And if you're moving forward spiritually, because spirituality isn't, lighting an incense stick or flowers and things, it's making me aware of who I am so that I can move to my own highest potential and then use those qualities in my life. That is spirituality. And so at the end of the day, if I'm winding up the day having learned something and understanding how I could have done things differently, definitely there'll be good progress in my life, and I'll definitely be a happier person, a more peaceful person.
So one last question, when I was doing my Raj Yoga course, there's a beautiful word called drishti, you know. So would you like to elaborate a little bit on drishti? Because obviously drishti, like in Sanskrit, means like vision. But in Brahm Kumari, what drishti means?
It means vision, but we use it in the sense that if I'm in the consciousness of soul and I'm in the remembrance of God and I see you as a soul, my brother, and I share that vision of God's remembrance, this exchange in silence is drishti. So it has a very specific use because we meditate with our eyes open, which is very unusual. Most people, if you tell them meditate, they'll firstly close their eyes and try and sit in a cross-legged posture, but you can sit comfortably where you are. But the aim is to be able to keep a higher consciousness no matter what else is going on. And so as we're speaking now, can I keep a higher consciousness? Yes. I can see you as a soul. I can feel myself as a soul. And so meditating with eyes open means I'm seeing, but my mind is focused on that higher being. And so I can open my eyes and walk around and do what I need to do, cut the vegetables, do the cleaning, or whatever is needed, but I can do it in a higher state of consciousness.
Right. Excellent. So we will be sharing some links as well with this video, so you can always have a look on those links, and those links will can guide you to your nearest Brahm Kumari center, and obviously and from there you can contact your local center and move forward. Right.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.